Have any of y'all checked out the movie Hereditary? I still have not checked out that movie, but I've checked out this band with the same name. What's up, everyone? It's your boy, Matt Diazabo, coming at you with a new music review. Thanks for coming on by. You the best. We having fun out here. And just like I said before, the band I'm checking out today is called Hereditary with their self-titled debut album called Hereditary. If you've never heard about this band Hereditary, they are a hardcore punk band based out of San Diego, California, and have been a band for about, I want to say, 3 or 4 years now. They've had a few member changes over the past couple of years, and they've dropped, I think, a demo, an EP, and this is their debut album. So they've been trugging along in the hardcore scene, in the California scene, and I think they've done some slight touring outside of California, but they're a relatively new band. And I discovered this band because I was on Spotify just browsing around looking for music to listen to, and this album cover, like the cover of this album, kind of stuck out to me. I was like, Hereditary, what's going on with there? And I checked out. I was like, oh, this is a new hardcore band. Let's check them out. And so that's how I discovered them. And yeah, there's not too much to them, but gotta say, if you're into hardcore and punk, you might find something you like here. And with this debut album, as I was listening to it, I felt like it has two things going for it, and that is that it's very familiar in terms of hardcore roots. If you're really into old school hardcore ethos and just style, this band really brings that, while also, having a bit of a refreshing execution in terms of production and overall style. And with the opening song here, the intro, the band is able to create a very chilling tone with some guitar riffs that just slowly crawl and build in before switching into like a more locked in mid-tempo style of playing with some really thick bass playing in the background. And I gotta say, that bass playing on this record is one of the highlights and one of the most defining features of this record, because the bass here sounds really heavy, dirty, and it's always pushing the band forward without ever really drowning out the rest of the band members. The production on here is very tight, especially towards the drums, because they give it a lot of space to breathe, so the drums sound very huge. The guitars are doing a really good job of, carving out their own particular style, switching between, groove, chuggy riffs, and just outright fast playing. So this intro song is a really good summarization of the band's, I guess you could say, talents in terms of their instrumentation. So I want to play a small clip for you so you get a sense of just like what this band is offering. It's not too bad and everything. It's pretty straightforward hardcore. And I really think a good example of all this balanced out playing is on the song Not the Same, because here the band is able to ride some waves of thick riffs and some pounding rhythms combined with some vocals that are very strained with a very raw, shouted energy. It just brings everything together very nicely. And because they're from San Diego, they were able to get a feature from another local San Diego band called Mongrel, and the vocalist of that band adds a lot of fire to the song, proving that the band is able to layer intensity without ever really cluttering their sound. I will say some of the cleaner moments on this album just don't hit as hard, but the band is able to, recognize when they need to cut things off just right before things start to overstay their welcome. Things really snap off on the song No Remorse because the band is able to kick up the pace a bit here. The riffs and the double kicks from the drum on this particular song really bring a very crossover thrash feel to it that is very reminiscent of, Power Trip, but a little bit heavier while still, staying rooted in California hardcore grit. It's a track that, nods directly to their San Diego roots while pushing their sound into more sharper, more groovier driven territory. So I want to play a small clip of No Remorse for you. So groovy. And across certain songs like Change and Can't Stop It, Hereditary really proves that their greatest strength is possibly creating some grooves that feel both, crushing while also very vibrant and alive. The riffs and the drums just lock in together to really elevate the simplest structures to make some very impressive songs here. And then they got some breakdowns that just really hit, especially when they lean into more dynamic playing and letting the drums breathe during those breakdowns. And you can really tell this on the song Can't Stop It, where, you know, they have lots of, I guess you could say, layers of texture that add to the atmosphere. So, you know, overall, keep the record from feeling a little one-dimensional most of the time. So here's a clip of Can't Stop It. Those different vocal styles really added a lot of texture. And then Brendan from Big Boy, right before I cut it off, his verse and vocals here sound really good. But I will say not everything on here is perfectly done, particularly the vocals. While they are really solid, sometimes they kind of take a backseat to the riffs and the drums. And a few songs like Find the Strength and Empty Faith, these songs run a little bit too long at times before they really deliver some of their hardest punches in the songs. So timing wise, like I said earlier, they are able to cut things at the right time in some of the early tracks, but some of the later tracks, they do run a little bit long. Still, the payoff with those breakdowns and the buzzing bass, they kind of make it worthwhile. And I think what really stands out about this record and this band, Heritage, they really love paying homage to California hardcore. Everything about this has a very thick tone to it, very sharp grooves, and a willingness to, you know, try things outside the box, but still feel so California at the same time. Like on the song Won't Fool Me, where, you know, it carries a bit of a tribal-like pulse to it before, you know, breaking into some just hardcore punk energy. And then the song Empty Faith kind of takes like a darker turn where they're leaning into some almost like Terror style aggression with riffs that have a very distinctive yet massive feel to them. And so by the end of this album, Hereditary really like lets you know that, you know, San Diego hardcore, it's heavy, it's groovy, and it's just very unrelenting. The bass is thick here, the riffs are mean, and, you know, the vocals, while, you know, they're not always, you know, stealing the show, but, you know, they have some overall good energy that is, you can't really like deny it. From Madball to Terror to Power Trip, you'll find something. If you like these bands, you'll find something that you'll grab onto with this band, Hereditary. And this debut album from them, gotta give it up to them. Did an all right job. And I would have to say, I would give it a good and decent 8 out of 10. Links down below. Tell me what you think about this band. What are some other California bands I should check out or musicians? And until next time, guys, see you in the pit.